Well, I'm actually in favor of Medicare for All countrywide. And I think that it's a really good solution because Medicare has such a high satisfaction rating. And I've been in favor of that since day one. I think that we've seen some really good efforts in California to move towards single payer. But I think that, we got to do it nationwide. I mean, that's just where my bottom line is. And, the government already covers 2/3 of healthcare right now. The government pays 2/3 of the bill. So we're basically saying, look, we're already paying for most of this, and we have such good satisfaction ratings and such low overhead related to most other insurance outcomes that this is something we need to find the funding for. And I think we can actually find a lot of funding from programs that may be overfunded in certain areas, like certain elements of the Department of Defense. There are some areas in there, I think, where we could be looking for money. Plus, I hate when people tell me we don't have funding and we just gave a $1.5 trillion tax cut to billionaires and corporations.
The question is, what do you think of the military-industrial complex? And that comes from Metalhead.
Good question. I think that it's out of control at the moment in terms of like the spending versus the result that we achieve. I think that the military is great. Like, don't get me wrong. My mom is a terrorism and foreign counterintelligence expert. She worked in the FBI, and so did my dad. And so national security is actually a big priority to me, and preparing for all sorts of threats, whether it's a natural hazard or whether you're talking about a man-made threat, like from a terrorist source, or you're talking about like a cyber threat. So I'm really big in favor of national security, and we need to be funding it, but we have to be smarter, and we can't just be having people run roughshod over the system, bidding and well, I should say not bidding, basically getting non-competitive contracts and then overcharging. I mean, we are wasting so many taxpayer dollars, and I think that we can definitely rein that in and do a much better job of how we spend our money. We got to spend smart. You can't just spend and throw money at problems. You have to be intelligent in your decision making. Diplomacy is actually a fine art and a skill, and we can't just be tweeting about nuclear buttons and their relative sizes, because that's just nuts. And we actually need people in office who can engage in diplomacy at every level. Whether your conflict is with the town next door or whether it's with North Korea, like, you have to be able to talk to people.